Hello and welcome back to another video or audio if you're listening in an audio format. My name is Justyna. Welcome to my channel. If you're a returning viewer or listener, welcome back and thank you for joining me today. So here today I'm going to talk about the upcoming new moon happening on the 20th of November at 28 degrees of Scorpio. And there's a lot happening at this time because we've got the Uranus opposition, Mercury is retrograde, and 3 hours after the new moon is exact, we've got a Cazimi conjunction. So the sun and the moon meet in the heart. So generally, Mercury goes into the heart of the sun, so to speak, and it's a really, really significant time. So it is going to happen at the time of the new moon. So let's explore how these energies will impact us collectively as well as individually. So here I'll share my screen with you now, and the sun and the moon are at 28 degrees of Scorpio, and we've got Mercury retrograde at 28 degrees as well. It will reach the exact degree and the minute of the sun just a few hours after the new moon is exact. All right, so first of all, the moon is in its fall in the sign of Scorpio. So this isn't a comfortable placement for the moon. Overall, when a planet or a luminary is in its fall, it is positioned directly opposite a sign of its exaltation. So, of course, the moon is exalted in Taurus, which is opposite Scorpio, but in the sign of Scorpio, it is in its fall. Exaltation is a place of awareness, while the fall is a placement of weakness. So, first of all, have a look if you have any placements at around 28 degrees of Scorpio, Taurus, or Leo or Aquarius, because this means you will be under greater influence of this particular new moon. Now, during a new moon in Scorpio overall, our emotions tend to be heightened. And also here, Scorpio generally creates that introverted energy, which can become very deep, profound, intense, even obsessive at times. So here our emotions are usually high, and so is our intuition, especially during a lunation, during in a water sign. But at the same time here, the fixed energy of this lunation also creates generally that lasting effect. So, overall, here with the intensity of Scorpio, with the profoundness of the energy of Scorpio, there is often a stronger need for excitement as well. So, it's very easy to create unnecessary drama under stressful circumstances, especially if generally we let these intense energy take over our emotions, our reactions. So watch out for any impulsive reactions, for example. Now, at the same time, here with the Scorpio, the depth of Scorpio, this is also a time when we desire depth, authenticity. Nothing superficial will satisfy us or will likely satisfy us. All right. So overall, if we think about Scorpio, what is Scorpio connected to? Scorpio is connected to. Think about those eight house energies. So debts and money, but also investments, transformation, deep emotions, emotional, financial entanglements, gains, and losses. So here with that Scorpio captivating nature, this generally the situations that occur around this time, the events, generally could create that irresistible, compulsive, obsessive energy, or even a pull toward something or someone that we can't resist overall. Now, at the same time, during this time, it's also a good time overall to getting to the root of something complex, challenging, and here's something to really, really pay attention to is the opposition to Uranus in Taurus. It's not something that hasn't happened before, because Uranus has been in Taurus for quite some time. Of course, let's not forget, this is the very final time that Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. It re-entered Taurus early November. So here with this new moon opposing Uranus, and Uranus, of course, is retrograde in Taurus for the very last time in our lifetime, for most of us at least. So this suggests that the events, situations happening around this time may remain unresolved or uncertain for quite some time, especially since we also have Mercury retrograde aligned with this new moon. But on a different level, this energy could also manifest as us having to implement more effort, more energy in order to manage a certain situation, to resolve a certain issue. Now, of course, Uranus is the planet connected to the unexpected, the unforeseen situations, events. So this also adds an element of unpredictability to this lunations, to the circumstances, events, situations occurring around this time. Some things might feel like they are out of our control. What we need to watch out for here of that intense energy of the new moon in Scorpio and Uranus opposition, Mercury retrograde. This isn't a good time for making emotionally based decisions or perhaps some rushed decisions, because these could turn something of minor significance, of little significance, into something very complex or even chaos. So for this reason, this isn't a good time for making any significant decisions, especially about relationships, career changes, for example, investments, because even though here the Scorpio moon energy can heighten our intuition, Mercury being aligned with the moon and the sun can generally create a little bit of fogginess, and it can result in our intuition, in our thinking processes not being accurate. And of course, with that, the Mercury retrograde energy in the sign of Scorpio, this energy generally intensifies introspection, reflection, and this is also a good time for reviewing, revisiting any unresolved issues, matters from the past. Now, a few hours, I think around 3 hours after this new moon is exact, with Mercury Cazimi, Mercury retrograde Cazimi, Mercury will enter the heart of the sun, also on the same day, on the 20th of November. This energy gives us a really brief but very powerful window for gaining clarity, for gaining understanding about something of a complex nature. All right, so let's see how this new moon will influence each sign on a deeper level. We'll start from the first sign, Aries. So Aries, welcome. This new moon activates your 8th house, the house of transformation, deaths, investments, death and rebirth, emotional and financial entanglement. So during this time, you might find that an old financial situation or issue, anything to do with joint bank accounts or joint credit cards or some family emotional situations or family debts pops back up. So instead of worrying, try to take this opportunity to review any past documents, past bank statements, for example. If you are dealing with any debts, this is a good time for creating a simple repayment plan, a step-by-step plan. It's a good time for having these honest, here Scorpio thrives through honesty and authenticity. It's a wonderful time for having these honest and open conversations about money, about any debts, for example. Now, when it comes to relationships, if an old argument resurfaces around this time, then this is a chance to generally to clear the air, to see what's working, what isn't, what caused the argument. And when it comes to finances, on the other hand, this is a good time to slow down, to review. This isn't a good time for rushing. This is a time to patiently review, reassess, because this is when clarity occurs. So thank you very much, Aries. And now let's have a look at Taurus. Taurus, welcome to your new moon in Scorpio horoscope. This new moon activates your seventh house of relationships, partnerships, marriage, contracts, one-to-one connections overall. And this new moon could bring some surprising news, some new ideas, some revelations about your relationships. About a collaboration, a connection, a client, even. So during this time, because this new moon is connected to other people's involvement in your life. So this is it's essential to be mindful of how you react to these potential surprising news, change of plans, for example, because it's, as I mentioned earlier, it's very easy under this intense energy to turn something little into something more complex. Now, so instead of reacting impulsively or overreacting, perhaps try to take a step back, review, reassess, and perhaps, or maybe even write down what you want to say, what you've got to share, especially in these one-to-one connections. Now, if you're thinking about signing a contract, keep in mind that Mercury is still retrograde. So it's really essential that you review the fine print, that you read everything carefully. If you can, try to hold on signing important documents until everything feels clear. If you have any questions, ask questions, clarify. With Mercury retrograde, it's often best to clarify anything that feels unclear. And it's also a good time for reviewing any existing contracts, especially before committing into something brand new. All right, so thank you very much, Taurus. And now, Geminis, welcome. Welcome to your new moon in Scorpio horoscope. So here with this new moon, we've got a sixth house activation. So that's your daily life, daily reality, your health habits as well. So you might find yourself feeling really motivated, maybe even inspired to reorganize your daily life, daily routine, and perhaps, especially if you feel like things aren't working efficiently on daily basis, maybe your schedule is overloaded, maybe your routine feels overly chaotic. So this is a great opportunity for reviewing, reassessing, and to make your daily routine flow more smoothly. So during this time, you might notice that perhaps some of the current habits, maybe your current routine, is a bit disorganized. Maybe this is about your mailbox. Maybe your emails seem disorganized. Maybe you need to clear out some space. Maybe this is connected to your health habits, for instance. So instead of creating something entirely new around this time, try to first work with what you have already established in the past. So perhaps try to review, reassess your current routine, what's working, what is in your current health habits. Also find yourself returning to some exercise routines, for instance. So generally this new moon gives you this amazing opportunity for reviewing, reassessing your current routine, your current schedule, your work and life balance, and work with what you have already established. And anything brand new, any new routines, for instance, try to implement them after the 29th of November when Mercury is out of the retrograde phase period, if you will. So thank you very much. Now, Cancers, welcome to your new moon in Scorpio horoscope. This new moon activates your fifth house. The fifth house deals with the creative self-expression, anything to do with the romantic side of our life, children, working with children, our inner child. So, of course, Mercury is retrograde. So, we are working with what we already have. And this would be a good time to returning to some old creative projects, hobbies. Maybe during this time, you might find yourself reconnecting with your ex sweetheart or ex-romantic partner. Maybe this new moon means that you want to give this connection, this relationship another go, another chance. At the same time, you might also find that some family tensions, like perhaps old disagreements or anything to do with household chores, especially in terms of how the workflow is divided among the members of family, and this could be in connection to your children as well. Maybe there's something that needs to be revised, especially if you feel like things out of balance. Now, at the same time, this new moon is an amazing opportunity for reconnecting with what brings you joy, with what brings you happiness. You might find yourself reconnecting with hobbies, interests. That once brought a lot of joy, but perhaps you didn't have time to enjoy them, to get back to them. This new moon offers this amazing opportunity for reconnecting with what brings that spark, a sense of happiness into your life as well. Thank you very much, Cancers. And now, Leos, welcome to your new moon in Scorpio horoscope, which will take place in your fourth house. Here, this new moon here, we've got a connection to the fourth house, so your home and family dynamics here, emotional well-being, emotional stability, security is highlighted at this time. Now, this new moon is tightly aligned with Mercury retrograde in opposition to Uranus in Taurus retrograde as well. So here, expect the unexpected, because this new moon could bring some unexpected turn of events at your home, or anything also to do with your career objectives, ambitions overall. With Mercury being retrograde, this is a good time for reviewing your household plans, goals, family related plans as well. It's a really great time for returning to some unfinished projects, especially DIYs. If you started some renovations, home refurbishments, overall changes at your home, but perhaps you didn't have a chance to complete them, then this new moon is an amazing time for doing so, especially since Mercury is retrograde here and we've got a new moon. So a good time for returning to those unfinished DIYs, projects, overall at your home. This new moon could also indicate that perhaps you might be hosting a family event with family members that you haven't reconnected for quite some time. So overall, this is also a good time for decluttering, for reorganizing your living space. Maybe those darker parts of the house, maybe your cellar or your cupboards, or the cupboards under your sink, for instance, because that's the Scorpio energy. Places connected to places that are dark, and we don't always have time to check. Overall, try to also avoid making any major changes. Anything brand new should be ideally delayed until after the 29th of November. Thank you very much. Now, Virgos, welcome to your new moon in Scorpio horoscope, activating your area of communication, learning, short distance travel, your siblings, anything to do with your thinking processes, communication style, your generally people interactions with people from your community. So here, this could indicate that perhaps you could potentially give a connection within your community, within your environment, another chance, another go. Maybe during this time you will go to an event organized by your community, someone in your community. You might reconnect with someone you as connected in the past, but perhaps you didn't see each other for quite some time. So there's an element of the past. There's an element of something happening unexpectedly. So also be mindful of your reactions, overreactions. It's very easy under the influence of these energies to say the wrong thing, especially with the third house, new moon, Mercury retrograde. Generally, Mercury retrograde in Scorpio brings a lot of internal, introverted energy. So you might want to keep things to yourself. Um, Watch out for any tendencies connected to overthinking, over analyzing, to the point where that perhaps you might be holding yourself back from sharing something that is meaningful. Now, at the same time, this new moon during this time overall, try to communicate as clearly as you can. This is a good time for also returning to studies, courses that you started, maybe you purchased and you never had a chance to engage. So a great time for returning to those ideas, goals, projects that perhaps you didn't have a chance to complete, to finish. When it comes to communication, double check everything. It's not a good time for signing any contracts. If you can, try to avoid them until after the 29th. And overall, that's what I've got for you today. Thank you very much. Now, Libras, welcome. Welcome to your new moon in Scorpio horoscope. This new moon here is happening in your second house, so your finances, your income, anything to do with resources, possessions. Now, this new moon is fantastic for reviewing your outgoing, your spendings. It's a good time for decluttering as well, getting rid of things, objects, physical objects that you no longer need, that no longer have a meaning to you. A good time for getting rid of these unnecessary but physical objects, especially if you feel like they are just creating clutter. Try to reconsider any major financial decisions at this time. This is a good time for renegotiating any contracts. It's a good time for reviewing your spendings, reviewing your financial situation overall. Any major purchases, if you can, try to avoid them until after the 29th of November. If you can, keep your receipts because you might change your mind. Something might suddenly break down. So it's essential to have a backup plan overall in place. And at the same time, when it comes to money that was owed to you, or money that has been delayed might finally be deposited in your bank account. Thank you very much. Now, Scorpios, welcome to your new moon in Scorpio horoscope. So this is your first house, and it's a very personal, very transformative new moon, without a doubt. Mercury is retrograde here as well. This is happening in your first house, so the area of the self, of your personal physical style, of your identity, of your goals. So, a good time for reviewing your goals, for reviewing your plans. So, we are looking at generally plans that are of a lasting nature. This is a fixed lunation. But at the same time, you might find yourself returning to some goals, ideas from the past that perhaps were just an idea, and now you might want them to become a reality. Now, at the same time, this is also a time when you might be reviewing certain connections, relationships in your life. Try to avoid launching anything new, like new businesses, new ventures. Well, if you have to, you have to, but make sure that everything is clear, that you are clear and happy with everything before you launch. Otherwise, try to wait until after the 29th of November. All right, so this isn't a good time for having any big haircuts either, like, suddenly having a fringe, for instance, or cutting your hair short if you had long. Try to really gain that clarity that perhaps Mercury retrograde could kind of overcloud. But other than that, there is an element of the past Someone might surprise you with some news. So watch out for how you communicate. Watch out of your reactions. It's you might overreact. It's you might perhaps yeah, watch out how you communicate. Very often with Mercury retrograde in the first house, we feel misunderstood. We feel like we are not being heard. So here, watch out for these sort of tendencies. Thank you very much. Now, Sagittarius, Sagittarius, welcome to your new moon in Scorpio horoscope. So here, this new moon falls in your 12th house, the house of introspection, depth, spirituality, hidden matters. This new moon might make you want to withdraw. It might make you want to keep some things to yourself. Very often with the 12th house lunations, we feel like being on our own, spending time alone, withdrawing, or maybe just spending time with someone who's really close to us. But generally, the external influences, external affairs can feel very draining. So make sure that you find some time to recharge your energies. Now, this new moon could also bring some hidden issues to the surface, some past experience, unresolved or unhealed emotions, situations. So it's a good time for meditation, journaling, reflection, spending time in nature to help you heal, to help you release the emotional baggage that you may have accumulated in the very recent past. Try to avoid starting anything brand new, new ventures, or try to avoid making any major life decisions now. Focus on the understanding, on inner healing, inner planning. We've got a new moon in Sagittarius happening in December. During that time, Mercury will be out of the retrograde phase as well. So take this Sagittarius Scorpio new moon to take it easy, to heal, to rest. You've got some exciting times coming up in December. Thank you very much. Now, Capricorns, welcome to your new moon in Scorpio horoscope. So here, this new moon activates your 11th house of friendships, social groups, long-term goals, long-term plans, your network. So this new moon is connected. There's an element of the past. There's an element of something happening unexpectedly out of the blue. It generally, this new moon highlights networking opportunities. So this is a good chance to give something or someone another chance, especially if you feel like it's worth your energy. It aligns with your values, with your inner sense of self. This could mean that you might be returning to some circle, social circle, a networking event you went to before. This new one could also make you re-evaluate, reassess certain connections in your life. You might reconnect with someone from the past during this new moon as well. But at the same time, it's a good time for reviewing any group plans, any group associations. It's also a good time for reviewing your own goals and hopes and dreams for the future as well. So generally try to avoid over committing to some new social projects or ventures. Try to avoid launching any new projects during this time, especially under stressful circumstances or impulsively. If you can, try to delay them until the 29th of November. Because overall Mercury is retrograde, it is aligned with this new moon. Uranus is in opposition. So generally, this could disturb your intuition, your thinking processes. Might be difficult to think clearly. So it's better to wait until Mercury is out of the retrograde phase after 29th in order to gain the clarity that you may lack during this time. All right, so Aquarius, welcome to your new moon in Scorpio horoscope. This new moon activates your 10th house. So this is the area of career, reputation, your public life, your ambitions, your life direction overall. We've got Mercury retrograde aligned with the new moon. Uranus is in opposition as well. So this new moon could bring some opportunities from the past, some old career plans, goals, quite unexpectedly even. It's a good time also for returning to some ideas, projects, unfinished projects, especially that you didn't have a chance to complete before. And this could also see you reconnecting with people from the past, from your professional environment, for instance. It's this new one is amazing for reviewing and reassessing your professional goals, for updating your CV, your portfolio as well. This is a chance to clarify your career plans, goals, ambitions, and wait until Mercury is out of the retrograde phase before you make any big career moves or any big public announcements. This is a chance to review, reassess, gradually gain clarity and move forward until the 29th of November. All right, so thank you very much. Now, Pisces, welcome to your new moon in Scorpio horoscope. This new moon highlights your ninth house, the house of foreign places, foreign travel, life direction as well, or purpose. Anything to do with legal matters, higher education, self-growth, personal development as well. Mercury is retrograde, Uranus is in opposition to this new moon, so we've got an element of something happening out of our control, surprising us, but at the same time, we've got that feeling of uncertainty slightly in the air, confusion with Mercury retrograde. This is a good time for giving something another chance. So perhaps you might be resitting an exam, rewriting an assignment, reviewing your travel plans. If you're going to be traveling around this time, leave early. Make sure you're prepared. You well prepared. Don't leave anything to the last minute. Check the visa requirements, for example. Check your passport. Is it still in date? That's something you should be done well in advance because Mercury retrograde can generally create unnecessary stress. This is also a good time for reviewing your studies, for any legal documents. It's a good time for reapplying for a visa or a passport, for instance. But at the same time, you might find yourself returning to some courses that perhaps you didn't have a chance to complete, books, movies, even. So try to overall avoid committing to something brand new, new ventures, new long term studies, or try to avoid or delay booking any new trips because it's very easy to miss something little or like little details. Um, Mercury will station direct on the 29th, and this is when the clarity will return, and this will be a good time for initiating something new, booking these foreign trips, implementing new ideas, engaging in workshops connected to personal growth and development. So thank you so much, and all the best.